Welcome everyone to the webinar, How to Market Your Giving.sg campaign online. Thank you for joining us today, bright and early at 10 a.m. We hope you have an insightful session. First, we'd like to introduce the digital marketing team at NVPC. We have Alfred, who leads digital marketing. We next have Zin, who is responsible for search engine marketing and search engine optimization. And we have Ethan, our digital marketing intern. I'm May, responsible for content creation, be it web, EDM, or social. We will be around to assist you throughout this webinar. So if you have any questions, please fill it up to the Q&A function. When you hover, the Q&A function is at the bottom of your screen. Your question will be answered at the end of this webinar. With that, I'll pass the time over to Sarah, who will be presenting today's webinar. Over to you, Sarah.
Hi, thank you, May. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time today. So just a quick overview on what we're covering in today's webinar. In our introductions, we'll be touching on some of the digital trends in Singapore, some of the data points that really shows why digital media and digital marketing is really important as a tool. And in today's session, it's gonna be a lot more broad overview, kind of a high level covering of the different topics that we'll be touching on, because every platform is really very wide and we need different sessions to really deep dive into the various platforms and strategies. So today we're going to touch on the 4 platforms. We're going to look at some analytics as well. So at the end of the session, as May mentioned, we'll have some Q&A. So please feel free to key in your questions and our team will address them along the way or at the end of the session. So just a little bit about me. I have over 10 years of marcoms and e-commerce experience from the corporate sector. And I joined NVPC about 2.5 years ago to pursue my passion in nonprofit works. So in the past 2 years, I've been co-leading Giving Week's digital marketing campaign. And currently with the team, I'm responsible for the paid digital media side of things, mainly social media marketing and email marketing. So I really hope that with my experience, with my knowledge, all of us here will be able to help elevate the nonprofit sector to another level and to really amplify the needs of beneficiaries in our communities and to really inspire givers. So next, before we begin, why don't we just take some time to do this poll? We want to get to know you. So Zin, could you help to launch the poll? That's right. So the question is, as a consumer, which of these digital platforms do you use most often? And I see answers streaming in. Okay. Wow, and we have a winner. It's Instagram is actually the highest. And yeah, I think personally, I have also shifted from Facebook to Instagram. And this is interesting. So we'll take a look at the data and the trends later and see how this relates to the Singapore landscape. So thank you, Zin. Could you help end the poll, please? Okay, if you could just close the poll, the box, and we will move on. Okay, so right now, I have a thing. With 5.7 million population in Singapore, what do you think is the digital penetration rate? Digital penetration meaning the number of online users we have in Singapore, be it on social, on email, consuming Netflix, Spotify, iTunes, reading the news online. Have a thing in your head. What do you think? Is it 65%, 70%? 80% or even 90%? And the answer is 88%, and versus the global average of 67%. So Singapore's digital penetration rate is really one of the highest globally, and we are the highest in Southeast Asia. And have a look at social media penetration rate. So we have about 79% people who are really using social media actively versus the global average of 49%. We are 30% higher than the global numbers. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that as Singapore, we are so savvy, we are so always online. This is why it's really important, for us to understand how digital marketing is a really effective tool for us to use to inspire people, to empower our donors, our volunteers, and to really amplify the message that we want to bring across and to engage the people. So just have a look at the most used social media platforms in Singapore. It's a research as of January this year by Via Social and Hootsuite. So YouTube is actually the highest, followed by WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. And as you can see, that's why we are focusing on Facebook and Instagram, because they are simpler. To be honest, to produce videos, you need more resources, more budgets. That's why our focus is on Facebook and Instagram. And as you can see, LinkedIn is at 35% because of the nature and the target audience of the platform, which I'll elaborate on later. And this year, 2020, it has really been a different year. It has really been challenging with COVID-19. It has been unexpected. And let's take a look at the data of how, Singaporeans have been online since COVID happened in about March, April onwards. People have been really going online, and because of COVID, a lot of businesses have also shifted the focus to digital. And as you can see, the fourth highest, or rather on par with number 3, is actually people browsing a lot on social media. So this is really important, as an important platform for us to engage, for us to have the reach, to reach out to people who are a lot more active on social media. And as we ask ourselves, what is really the new normal? This is like the buzzword of the year moving forward. What is the new normal? And I think, today, ladies and gentlemen, we just really want to reimagine the city of good. We really want to rethink the power of technology for good, especially in this digital era and, this new normal that we're entering into, because we want to harness the potential of technology that can be used for good. And this really, really translates into this result, into these results of the survey that we have done. So in 2020 Giving Trends survey, we partnered nonprofit Tech for Good, and we surveyed about online givers. And the top platforms that will inspire online givers is actually social media, followed by website and email. So there are some also offline channels such as print and TV and messaging app and radio. So once again, this really proves our point of how important social media is, and website, it would be, in our case, Giving.sg, and email would be how we can use email marketing as an effective tool to reach out to people. So really the key objective today, we want to reiterate from the last webinar that creating a strong Giving.sg campaign is just the first step. Next, we need to achieve the desired results that we want, the donations that we want, the volunteerism rates that we want through marketing. Hence, today we want to address the question of how to market your Giving.sg campaign online. And just to break down our key objective, we want to look at how to market, we want to look at the online platforms, and just to set the expectations regarding Giving.sg campaign. So in terms of how to market, we want to create awareness, we want to drive conversion. This is the 2 points that we're going to focus on today. So we want to increase donation, we want to increase that volunteerism outcome. And number 2, we're going to look at some of the content and platform strategies. We'll be looking at some of the case studies, best practices. We will also be touching on some aspects of social media advertising. And in terms of online, We'll be looking at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and email marketing. For LinkedIn, the nature of the platform and the audience is really different. So for that, I will elaborate later on like how different it is and how it can be used in our sector. So in terms of Giving.sg campaign, when we talk about this webinar, it is kind of on the assumption, on the expectations that you have covered all the bases for a strong campaign since we last shared. So in terms of visuals, titles, copy, it's already covered, so that we will not be talking about that, but we will be focusing on the marketing aspect and the online platform aspect. So earlier I was talking about awareness and conversion. So this marketing funnel, which some of you may be familiar in, this has been adapted to our sector point of view. So as you can see that it's really an inverted pyramid. So from the top to the bottom, how we can use various tactics and strategies to really streamline and build that loyalty, that loyal givers or even ambassadors for our charity. So this is why you see that awareness is the base. It's really the foundation. Without awareness, nothing else in the funnel can happen. So you have to make your Giving.sg campaign and charity known through the various communication platforms and advertising. And next, we want to look at consideration, and that would be kind of education and advocacy. So you should advocate for your charity's cause and share the impact that you have done to build that trust. Trust is something really important, especially among Singaporeans. So we have to let them know, their giving, what has it been gone to, what impact has it brought or will it bring. So we need to build that transactional trust with our givers. And conversion, that is the next funnel that we want to touch on today. So basically, higher awareness will lead to higher conversion. And we have some data that we have on hand because we do track the various brands, their health and their engagement rates every quarter. So we want to look at, for instance, community chess. It has 68% of awareness, which leads to 34% of action. And as you can see, really high awareness will bring out high action. And we want to look at the next case study, SG Enable. Don't be offended if you're from SG Enable. I'm not trying to pinpoint any mistakes or whatnot. We're all in this journey together to learn from each other. So for SG Enable, currently the awareness is 28%. So it translates into 15% of action, meaning when we survey respondents, they are aware of the brand, and 15% of them say yes, they will donate or volunteer with this charity. So this top 3 segments of the funnel is what we're going to focus on today. For the bottom, from support, retention, ambassadorship, that is really another topic on its own that we can explore to have more sessions to talk about deepen your relationship with donors through regular communications, through community groups, offline events, and to really build that brand loyalty. And ultimately, you can even have ambassadors who are really advocate for your charity and sharing their voice. And next, we really want to know our audience. So you got to know who. You have to understand who are your primary potential givers in terms of demographics, interests, and psyche. So like, what are their interests? What are their thoughts? What are their behaviors? And you can target based on those factors online. So for instance, if your charity is supporting a family cause, let's say the primary audience could be someone from 25 to 49 years old, someone who's interested in the issue of parenting, family, children, social issues, and human rights. Then have a think, your secondary audience, how about targeting some grandparents? They could be 50 to 65 years old, also similarly interested in the topics of parenting, family, social issues, and community. So have a think, in terms of your charity, who are your audience, what's their psychographics, and what are their interests? And using Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, using emails, you'll be able to segment and target this audience to be more effective in your messaging and in your campaign. So right now we want to dive into the 4 platforms that we want to focus on. So number 1, it is Facebook. It is a familiar platform for many of us, and all of you have voted that it's your second most used platform. But according to the 2020 Giving Trends report that we done, Facebook is actually ranked as the #1 social media platform that inspires online givers. It's really the #1 platform. So right now, why don't we just take some time and just type in the chat, with 5.7 million population in Singapore, how many Facebook users are there in your opinion? Is it 3.8 million? 4.4 million or 4.8 billion. Sorry about that. I'm trying to open the chat to take a look at your answers. Great. I see the answers streaming in. 4.4, 4.8. Well done, guys. Most of you have got it correct. And the answer is 4.4 million. So this is the overview of the demographics and the audience who are on Facebook. So the highest would be those age 25 to 34, then followed by from 35 to 44. And we also have the younger and this older crowd. So we have the Gen Zs, the 18 to 24, as well as the 45 and above. So we would say, interpreting this data, those above 25, they do have the wallet spend, to be frank. They do have the ability to support charities, to want to give back, to want to find that purpose in life. So Facebook has really the potential to reach out to the right audience. And with 4.4 million users, the reach is really, really high. So think about it, how you can have a think about who your audience is and make use of Facebook as the platform to amplify your message, to engage them. And right now we want to have a look at a Facebook post. So this is something that we did just 18 days ago in conjunction with World Suicide Prevention Day, and it really performed well in terms of engagement. It garnered over 1.7 thousand likes, it had 29 comments and 92 shares. And we want to kind of dissect how a good Facebook post would be and what are the pointers that we need to take note of. So for Facebook, what you see first is a caption. And as we scroll on our mobile, you only have that 1 to 2 seconds to hook your audience. So you have to be concise and clear. You have to start perhaps with a question, with a hook, or with a quote, and go to the point, because you really only have that 1 to 2 seconds to engage people, especially people's attention span is like getting shorter and shorter. And you have to have that compelling visual. Again, you only have that 1 second to captivate them. And visually, we really encourage positive visuals, human-centric visuals, and visuals that are engaging. As humans, we will be engaged when we see image of another human. That is part of our psyche. Hence, human-centric visuals will work. And about Facebook posts, it's great that he has a call to action that you can hyperlink straight to your Giving.sg campaign page. So that is great. Engagement, when people react and comment on our posts, they'll be able to share it to their friends, to their followers. And it's really a wide reach. With 4.4 users out there, it is great for awareness, it is great for conversion, it's great to put your message out there, to let your charity be seen and heard. And in terms of engagement, it is your chance for you to reply those who like your post or those who comment your post, something that I'll elaborate further later on. So let's take a look at Facebook content. So what will work? inspiring impact stories to capture hearts and minds. That is really the basis of why we do what we do. So we got to tell them, how beneficiaries will be impacted by the givers. Impact stories are really crucial. If people don't know what they give to and why they will not give, we understand that there might be some client confidentiality that you cannot really share about your client's identity. So we really encourage that in such instance, you can still share the story, but you don't reveal their real name. And visually, you can have a photo shoot of take maybe their hands or their back or feature half face shot. I know we do emphasize about human-centric visuals, but in such instance, it will still work. So this point I'll be elaborating later in the next slide as well. So another content that we want to look at would be we need to educate and inform about your cause. You want to inspire and empower audience. Tell them how can they make a difference through supporting your charity, through supporting your cause. You can also show them interesting data, interesting infographics to engage them. So you can even say, like, for instance, 1 in 5 family is facing food insecurity. So this kind of interesting data will be able to hook them and engage them and let them know why they give and what are they giving and what is the impact that they are making. So that will really be kind of a driver for them to donate to your charity. Another content that we can feature will also be profile stories. So this is the softer human stories. We can profile our staff, we can profile givers, volunteers, donors who have been impacting the lives of the beneficiaries and the community. So in terms of visual, as I emphasized, visual is really important. Humans are visual creatures, especially in this digital era. Everyone is more intrigued and more enticed by interesting and compelling visual. So you have to take note that the visual, it has to be of good quality. We recommend human-centric. It has to be positive. You can show people, volunteers in action, giving back. And most importantly, as much as possible, it should be text-free or less than 20% rule in the ratio of your visual, because it is how Facebook and Instagram algorithm works. Images with more text will not be optimized or delivered as well. So earlier, I talked about the concern of client confidentiality that we understand some of your charities are facing. So you can consider showing the hands, or you can feature some half-face shot. And so this is an example that on our City of Good Facebook that we did. So the photographer kind of captured the half face of a beneficiary from AWA. So, but it still worked. It is emotive, it fits the narrative, and organically it still performed well and got close to 200 engagements. So we hope we have addressed this concern and something that you can explore as well. And the next content that we want to look at would be video. So on Facebook, we will recommend a video to be no longer than 30 to 45 seconds and maximum at 60 seconds. It would be best if it's even 15 seconds or so. So the first 5 seconds must be captivating to engage and retain your viewers. It's the similar principle to the caption of how you only have that few seconds to engage them. So if you want long form video, it will be shifted to Facebook Watch, and we recommend it to be maximum of 3 minutes. This video, it could be related to more in-depth long form storytelling and interviewing piece that you can explore. So just to share, as of May last year, Facebook shared that their video algorithm is increasing the influence of these 3 factors. Number 1, loyalty and intent. So videos that people search for and return to. Number 2 would be video length and view duration. So videos that people watch past the 1 minute mark and not longer than 3 minutes. And lastly, originality, videos that aren't repurposed from other sources. So with videos with these three factors, it will perform better. It will be able to serve to more people's newsfeed organically. So this is a very simple video that we did in June. So one of our ex-colleagues, he decided to kind of mark his birthday differently. So he did some birthday challenge to raise funds for a children's charity. So he recorded it and we just edited it by speeding it up, by adding some copy and some effects. So this is really simple. You know, I think when it comes to video, it might seem daunting. We'll be like, oh, we need a lot of resources, we need videographers, we need budgets. Yes, that is needed, especially if you are doing a large campaign. But for day-to-day content, you know, such a simple video that is to the point, yet tells the story, yet inspires people to do the same, to do good, to support your charity will work as well. So you can encourage your givers, your volunteers, your staff to do the same. And just to wrap it up about Facebook, let us look at some best practices. So we will really suggest to variate several posts about your Giving.sg campaign to look at different angles, different narratives, different content types. So for instance, if you started a fundraising campaign asking people to donate, that can be your first launch post. Then a few days later, you can feature a beneficiary whose life has been impacted by your charity. Then the third post could be a video or an in-depth interview about maybe a staff of your charity as well, sharing about the needs of the community and the needs of the people that your charity is helping. And post frequently, you know, you need the eyeballs, you need the create noise, you need the buzz. So we would suggest minimally 3 posts a week to engage your audience, to build that brand recall so that your audience will be able to remember your charity's brand's presence. And the optimal day and time to post based on our data, based on our research and our observation for the nonprofit sector will be Mondays to Thursdays, noon and evenings. Morning used to work, but then, you know, since COVID and since the digital media consumption behavior has changed a little bit, we would suggest noon and evenings right now. So take note, comments from followers, you should react and reply them to engage them, to build that relationship as part of community management. And do remember to moderate negative comments or irrelevant ones. You can either clarify them, point them to the right direction, or those with profanities or those who are really inappropriate, you can just delete those comments. Next, we want to look at the advertising side of Facebook using Facebook Ad Manager. So Facebook ads really remain the best way to reach a wider pool of audience to increase your awareness and drive the conversion that is needed. It is value for money. It is low cost per result. It is based on cost per click model, and it is also based on the auction bidding model, and it has a high return of investment based on years of research and data. So for instance, with a budget of $500 a week, an ad can potentially reach over 15,000 audience daily, which in a week will be over 105,000 audience who will be able to view your ad, be inspired, be engaged, and be converted. And through Facebook advertising, you can target your audience. So remember when I was saying about knowing who your audience is, the demographics, the interests, the psychographics. So you can target based on those interests, based on those behaviors. You can even create a look-alike audience to your Facebook followers and expand that reach of audience. It is also flexible. You can change the post, the budget and period anytime that you like. So you don't have to be stuck to like a wrong ad or an ad for a long time. You can do testing, You can try out different visuals, different objectives to see what worked and what didn't work. And right now we want to take a look at a few advertising's best practices and case studies. So the first objective that we would use would be engagement. So it is through the learn more call to action, because higher engagement will increase the reach and the awareness. And for Giving.sg Facebook page, this would be ideal for the softer content. So we did this post back in May to mark Mother's Day. So this is the softer content that we talk about. It is human-centric, it is heartwarming, it is emotive, it is positive about how this mother overcame all odds and really took care of her family, took care of her daughter despite of her having a rare disease. And it performed really, really well. It had almost close to 5,000 engagements, over 140 comments and 23 shares. So stories like this will really hook people. And as you run your ad, you do observe that the healthy cost per click for an engagement ad should be less than 40 cents. And next, we want to look at conversion. So this conversion ad has a donate now button. So it has been launched in Singapore for a few months now, and we have also been trying it, so trying to drive more traffic and conversion to the various charities we have on Giving.sg. So the observation is that the Facebook conversion, it acts as a good assisted conversion tool, meaning that people, when they click on it to the Giving.sg campaign page, they might not firstly directly donate at first, but then they will remember, they will recall. So perhaps when they see the ad the second time or the third time, then they would kind of take action on it to donate. So that is our observation, and this is why it's important of building that awareness, building that brand recall for people to really, they can even directly search for your campaign online. And this healthy cost per result that we would like to achieve, it should be less than 85%. So as you can see that it has that donate now button, it links directly to the Giving.sg campaign page. And the engagement side of it is not an engagement ad. So in terms of the reactions, in terms of the likes, it may not look as high. But as you run this ad, you can look at the data on Facebook Ad Manager to look at the website donations garnered. And you can take a look on how it performed in terms of conversion results. So on advertising, we want to take a look at some ad placements. So meaning where your ads appear on Facebook. So we would recommend manual placement to optimize your budget so that your budget is not spread too thinly or on too many placements. So for us, we would recommend placing it on Facebook newsfeed on both desktop and mobile, and the instant article ads has been working for us as well. So like for people who have been reading articles, they'll be able to see our ad and have a think differently on, what difference that they can do. This is an example of an instant article ad. So again, it was in conjunction with World Suicide Prevention Day just a couple of weeks ago. So you can see that because suicide is a sensitive topic, that's why we also decided to use this visual from Samaritans of Singapore, which is we don't reveal the client's face, but then we capture the emotion, we capture the story of how losing a loved one to suicide is traumatic and devastating, and hence we put that as the first sentence in our caption, and it garnered over 1,500 engagement, 14 comments, and 32 shares. And so yes, we have covered Facebook, and right now we want to take a look at Instagram, which all of you actually, most of you voted as your top platform that you use on a daily basis. So according to the 2020 Giving Trends, the survey report that was done in partnership with nonprofit Tech for Good, Instagram is ranked as the #2 social media platform that inspires online givers in Singapore. Instagram has over 2 million users, and here's a look at the demographics and the age group of users on Instagram. Similar to Facebook, the highest number of audience is those aged 25 to 34. But then for Instagram, the second highest is actually those aged 18 to 24. And the third will be 35 to 44. So yes, the users on Instagram is slightly younger, but nonetheless, there is still those above 25, above 35 who has the ability to donate. And then for the younger audience, this is your chance to, you know, build that base, to reach out to your future donors. And right now, we want to do a little activity, and again, you can key in the chat. The question is, name one main difference between Instagram and Facebook. Have a think, what do you think is one difference between Instagram and Facebook? Let me just open the chat. What do you think, guys? More visual, format of content, Insta stories, yes, more image focus, no Facebook groups, photo sharing, less words. Feed is direct and clean, yes. Great answers, guys. You guys really know your stuff and understand Instagram really well. So yes, it's really visual first. It's a very visual driven platform. It is clean. It is less info packed. There is no hyperlink as well. So right now, we want to take a look at an organic Instagram post that we did on Giving.sg. We did not boost this, so organically it performed over 100 engagements on the post. So yes, it's visual first. You have that 1 to 2 seconds to hook your audience. So visual is very important for Instagram. So again, we would recommend it being human-centric, being positive, being empowering, being compelling. You know, it tells a story. So for instance, this image, you know, it really shows that despite challenges in life, you know, we are positive, we remain strong, and how the volunteers also help this family to really overcome the challenges that they face. And in terms of caption, it's way shorter than Facebook. So literally, you only have that one sentence to hook and captivate your audience. So for us, we use questions, we use quotes, we use something that is emotive to kind of make people think, to kind of touch their hearts. So for instance, you know, here we think that communities and training bring out the best abilities in everyone. So it's really affirming, it's really positive and empowering. And hashtags. Hashtags are important in Instagram. It will show the user-generated content. It will increase your visibility, your discoverability. So research on what is the trending hashtags out there, what works and what is the most used, and you'll be able, and you can also explore using them in your posts as well. So for engagement, people can react and comment to the post. They can add your Instagram post to their Insta stories. So that will also give some visibility and some reach to their followers. So yes, for call to action, it is a link in your Instagram bio. So unlike Facebook, there is no hyperlink in the caption. So do remember to not include hyperlink in the caption because it will not work. So later on in the next slide, we will talk about how do you include the link in your profile. So with over 2 million users on Instagram in Singapore, it has a wide reach. It is great for awareness. And remember the marketing funnel that we talk about, how awareness is the foundation. It is, the first thing that we have to achieve. So Instagram is a great platform for awareness. So yes, regarding call to action, it is a link in bio, so you can explore using platforms like Linktree to feature multiple Giving.sg campaign links on your Instagram profile. So for us, for instance, on Giving.sg, we have this link whereby we feature a few campaigns on this landing page. So this will help to, not have the previous featured campaign pages to be lost, but people can always take a look and discover, what are the giving opportunities, what are the other pages on Giving.sg that people will give, not just a reference to the latest post. So now let us look at Instagram content. What are the important pointers that we need to look out to create a good Instagram post? So for content pieces, a little similar to Facebook, in our sector, it really has to be inspiring and emotive. It needs to tell a story. It needs to be compelling. It needs to be educational, informative. This is where you have to advocate for your charity, advocate for your beneficiary, use data, use infographics. You have to also, you can profile your givers, your staff, your volunteers, tell stories, and that will really, really work on Instagram. So yes, as many of you got the answer right, Instagram is really visual led. So visual is so important that I emphasize it 3 times. And you only have that 1 second to engage your audience. So again, as I emphasize, it has to be positive, human-centric, emotive, compelling. It can be trending. So just like Facebook, even more important, it has to be text-free. It has to be cleaner. With text, it will really affect the deliverability of your post to people's newsfeed. So for caption, you only have that 1 sentence to hook your audience. So it needs to be concise. It needs to be a lot to the point, and it can be a question, can be a quote, or it can be a statement or a data to hook them. So yes, hashtags and location tags, it will help to increase the discoverability of your post on Instagram Explorer as people search for what are the posts out there that they can have a look and follow. So regarding trends and news checking, I just want to share this case study to you. So back in circuit breaker in the early days, when it was announced that bubble tea shops were closed and everyone was like devastated, including myself. I'm like, oh no, how am I going to survive without bubble tea? So then it kind of got me thinking, how can Giving.sg use this piece of news, and make use of the strategy of news checking to create an interesting post, to engage audience, to make them have a different perspective during this time. So I thought of just using a cute visual to hook the audience, 3 smiley bubble teas, but then yet the copy below is something that we want to make people think. We want to be more thought-provoking, and we wanted to bring out the ethos of Giving.sg. So we decided to kind of ask, the total cost of this 3 bubble tea may mean 2 meals for a vulnerable family of 3. We know we said that the image should be text-free, but sometimes in this instance, this strategy is something that we explore and it really worked, especially riding on trends and riding on news. So with this, we also started a campaign hashtag of Give Your 600, which was in line with the solidarity payout of the $600, whereby we encourage Singaporeans who are able to give a part of their $600 or to give their full $600. So yeah, many of your charities also started the Give Your 600 campaign, your SG United campaigns. And yes, as a joining force, all of us, made a historical breakthrough on Giving.sg. In April, we garnered the highest donation amount ever for Giving.sg. So it's really the power of social media, the power of news media as well, because this created a lot of buzz in the news. And this post, it garnered over 6,300 engagements, and organically we were very surprised. Like within minutes, it just soared up to like 100, then after that 200, 300 likes. So newsjacking will really works. So it's something that you can have to think about, like how can you write on trends, how you can write on news, and bring your narrative and your charity story into the picture. So many of you pointed out Instagram stories, IG stories. It is a good way to bypass the Instagram algorithm to get your content seen, because it will appear on the top of your Instagram feed instead of the news feed. And there is no algorithm for that, because it's based on timing. So it is casual, it is an interactive way to feature your campaign. You can use fun GIFs, stickers, and effects. And there's also an advertising side of things, which I will elaborate later. So do create IG story highlights to save them. You can create several appearing on the top of your profile. So for us, we create some highlights. One of it would be the SG United highlight, whereby we feature all the charities campaigns, all the individuals who hashtag SG United, who tag Giving.sg, to really kind of show the different voices in our community. So this is a great way to pin your IG stories and to make them seen by users. Because IG stories, as you know, they will disappear 12 hours later. So this will be helpful. And next, IGTV. It broke the barrier of 1 minute video length on the Instagram newsfeed. So it is suitable for long form video. It can play video up to 60 minutes. The videos more than 1 minute on your newsfeed will direct viewers to catch it on IGTV. So again, the principle of keeping the first 15 seconds of a video content compelling and captivating is important. It is organic, it can be boosted for now. So for City of Good, we have attempted this IGTV. So we have this short film as part of the 15 Shorts project. One of it is Alibaba. So we wanted to write on the issue of migrant workers, during this pandemic season. So we posted this short film on our Instagram channel, and it was an IGTV, and directed people to view the short film, which was about 20 minutes. So wrapping up Instagram, what are the best practices? So again, you can also vary a few posts about your Giving.sg campaign so that you can continue to hook audience. It will not be the same thing, but you can add variety. You can create different angles, different contents, make use of IG stories. It can be behind the scenes, it can be live in the day of a social worker, it can be very casual, it can be fun, to engage people, because the usage of IG stories are really increasing. So again, post frequently. You need to be seen, you need to be heard. So minimally 3 posts a week. And according to our data points, it also works the same way. So from Mondays to Thursdays, noon and evening would be the optimal day and time to post. So for comments, same thing. React to them, like them, reply them, moderate the negative ones and irrelevant ones. But for Instagram, there is the potential to be able to build a deeper relationship with your followers. You'll be able to follow and like their posts, especially those who are public profiles. You can even add their posts to your IG stories or tag them. So it's a lot more open, and the opportunities to build relationship with your followers and potential followers is there. Next, you want to look at Instagram advertising. So the algorithm for organic posts to gain the desired reach and engagement is limited. So ads are recommended to widen the reach to drive awareness and conversion. So it's also running on Facebook Ad Manager, as Instagram is also under Facebook. So it also has the low cost per result. It's high return of investment. You can target a specific audience based on interest, based on behaviors, based on demographics, and it is also flexible. You can also change your ads placement, your ad setup, budget anytime. So you want to look at this example of an engagement ad. So engagement ad is really the purpose of increasing the reach and the awareness that we want. It is a recommended objective for Instagram ads, as it is great for awareness. And so for this instance, we featured Water's Waste Watch Society, and we started with a caption of going green while keeping lean. So it is kind of a fun wordplay to hook the audience. And again, visually, you know, it is human-centric, it is volunteers in action, it is positive, it is joyful. And take note for engagement ads on Instagram. It is a little more expensive than Facebook, but it is still one of the cheapest in digital advertising. So the cost per result, ensure that it is healthy and it is less than 60 cents per click. For this post, we garnered over 2,500 likes. Next, we want to look at conversion. So like Facebook ads, it has the donate now button, which was launched a few months ago. So it is a clear call to action button to garner donation. It is slightly costlier than engagement ad. So we would recommend that you keep an observation and do take note that a healthy cost per result should be less than $1.50. So for this ad, we ran recently, I think last week, because we launched some of the different landing pages on the different causes that are out there. So for this specifically, is on disability. So visually, you know, it's heartwarming. It is positive of a girl smiling despite, you know, her having cerebral palsy. And we started with an inspiring quote about how the human spirit is one of ability, perseverance, and courage that, you know, no disability can affect us. So really, it is empowering, it is positive, it is something that will touch the hearts and soul of the audience. So yes, this is the donate now button, and it led directly to the Giving.sg disability page. And next, we want to look at the various ad placements. So again, we also recommend manual placement to optimize your budget so that it's not spread too thin on appearing on too many platforms. So we would recommend these three. First would be the Instagram newsfeed, definitely. Instagram Explore, so that people can search and you will appear on the search page. And third would be Instagram Stories. Instagram Stories, they are available for conversion and traffic ads, and it is auto resize. So it kind of affects the visual or the text. So we would really recommend that you would design your own IG story and run it as an ad instead. So this example would be an Instagram Explorer placement. So we know I mentioned about the visual to be human-centric and all that, but then this actually works because it brings out the narrative and the nature of the campaign, which is for CPAS, they have this Susie ambassador that many of us, you know, are aware of and grew up with, as it was in Singapore since the 80s. So then we just asked them, you know, remember the iconic Susie. So this really worked, and it garnered over 1,700 engagements. And CPAS also dropped us a note and mentioned that they have observed donations have been streaming in since we started this post and running an ad for it for about 5 to 7 days. So we have talked about Facebook, we have talked about Instagram, which are the top two platforms that inspires online givers. And next, we want to take a look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it is different. It is very, very different from Facebook and Instagram. It is more business to business with over 2.8 million users in Singapore. It is the aim is really more about networking. It is more about people wanting information on the industry. It is for professionals to connect. So in our opinion, we think that it is an ideal platform to brand and position your charity. So it is a platform for you to profile your employees, your board members, your volunteers, your supporters, ambassadors who have impacted your charity and your campaign. It is also a great platform to educate and inform, whereby you can use interesting data points, you can use infographics that will really elevate your charity, your cause, and your campaign. So truth be told, in a context of how to market your Giving.sg campaign online, we think that LinkedIn is really great as an organic platform to brand your organization, to brand the people who drives your organization. But in terms of advertising, it's really, really costly. So even for us, we don't really push much ads on LinkedIn because of the nature of the platform, because of the aim of the platform, and because of the audience of the platform. But really, it is a potential. It has a potential as you brand your organization. It will create that brand recall. It will elevate your brand's presence, and especially in the industry, in the sector that we are in. And next, moving on to the last platform that we want to touch on today, it will be email marketing. So according to the 2020 Giving Trends Survey, if you remember, it is in partnership with Nonprofit Tech for Good. Email is the #3 platform that inspires online givers. And look at some data. Singaporeans check their email at least weekly on these 3 devices: mobile, computer, and tablet. So mobile is really the highest at 76%, computer at 60%, and tablet at a low 21%. So this data really shows the importance of being mobile first in whatever that we do in our marketing campaign, because more and more people are consuming media on their mobile, almost 70 to 80% according to Google. So this is why it's very important. So picture your mobile. It is so small, it is narrow. So the moment they open their email, you really only have that few chunk of text to be able to captivate them and hook them. So your introduction is really, really important. Your visual is really, really important, because it's like the first 2 things that people see when they open their email. So just some research pointers. According to Google, Singaporeans trust personal advertising such as email. So for email subscribers, they subscribe to your email for a reason. Hence, they are loyal to your charity. They are aware of your charity. They want to support your charity. Hence, according to our data, emails is one of the highest conversion rate in terms of all the platforms. And for content, it is really an opportunity to have more in-depth content, to have longer content. But bear in mind, again, as we think about being mobile first, the header and introductions must be the hook. You can use emojis in the email subject header and body copy to make it lighter, to kind of divert the attention of people, to kind of hook the people as well. And personalization, with email, you can address them by name, dear May, dear Alfred, dear Zin. So it's more personable, and you can personalize and custom content to targeted audience. So for instance, in your email subscription, you can ask them to kind of check the boxes of the causes that they are most keen in. If you are a SSA who serves multiple causes, from children, youth, women, family, and elderly. So you can let the email subscribers kind of check the box that they're interested in. Then from there on, in your email platform, you have the data that you'll be able to segment your audience and send them the right email that they are interested in, so that it's more targeted and it is more niche. Right now, we want to take a look at a Giving.sg EDM that we sent in end August. So it is one of our tactical EDMs. We do have softer EDMs that we soft sell and a little more light, but in this season, we understand the topics out there, we understand the sentiments out there. So similar to, you know, the news jacking strategy, we want to write on the news of retrenchment being a serious concern in this season. So it is a topical trend that resonates with audience. So that's why we, you know, keep the header concise, to the point, and compelling and direct. You know, support retrenched workers and their families. And for the introduction, we hook them with facts, with data to inform readers of the needs. You know, we want to inspire them to then take action. You know, we tell them you can make a huge difference to retrenched workers and their families. And for visual, again, we use human visuals. It is emotive. It is you know, people in action. It is positive as well as inspiring. And for the body copy, you know, we want to inform them about your charity's works and what is the goal of the campaign, you know, impact stories, you know, why they give and what they give to, so that you can build that credibility, you can build that transactional trust with your donors. So for instance, we end off with each dollar helps low-income union members and their families. So it's simple, it's to the point, and kind of lead them to the next call to action, which is a button, and ensure that it is a clear, clickable call to action button that will lead to your Giving.sg campaign landing page. So wrapping up with some tips. The email marketing platforms out there, they really do offer non-profit rates. So you can discover them that are from Adobe, the Salesforce, to MailChimp, Digital. There's quite a lot out there. So you can kind of do your research and see what would suit your budget and what would suit your needs. We really, really recommend that you will invest in a robust and automated email marketing platform, so that it will help build an organized database with a CRM, CDP. CRM would be Customer Relationship Manager. CDP would be Customer Data Platform. So it will help to sort and segment your donors to understand their spend, their behavior, which content work, which content don't. Then it can also help to grow your database from there, and that is organized based on demographics. So the platform will also help to kind of let you know what is the best time to engage your readers, what is the best time that your readers will open the email. In terms of frequency, we really recommend sending monthly and bi-weekly EDMs. EDMs meaning e-direct mailers, which is email marketing, because you need that, you know, that constant, regular communication with your donors to remind them, to engage them, so that it will go down to the funnel to ensure a stronger brand loyalty. So after Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, looking at your LinkedIn organic post performance, your profiles, sending out emails, we want to know and analyze, you know, what worked, what did not work based on data points and all that. So for the benefit of this session, we are keeping it really high level, because this topic in itself is really wide. It will really take time, like another 1 to 2 hours to deep dive into it. So if you're interested, you know, let us know. We can arrange for another training session to dive into the numbers, to see how we can interpret the numbers and how we can analyze, and then how we can, you know, look at how we can improve our campaign moving forward from there. So we want to look at measure and analyze your campaign after that. So using your Facebook Ad Manager, you can analyze what is the engagement rate, what is the website donation rate for your conversion ads, you know, those with the donate now buttons. what is your cost per result? Are they within the healthy range? Are they too expensive? Why? Is it because of the visual that is not right, the ad quality? What is your ad ranking? What is your ad engagement rate, your relevance percentage? All these will be available on the Facebook Ad Manager for you to analyze. Again, we can definitely have another session to go through them and go through some demos for us to learn this together. And for email, using your email marketing platform, you need to analyze the open rate, the click rate, and the unsubscribe rate. So like, how effective are people that really engage people, that really allows them, that they want to read, that they really want to find out more, that they actually click to your campaign. And lastly, you need to measure the return of investment. So before you start your campaign, you should monitor what's the donation amount on your Giving.sg campaign. And then after that, what's the incremental? Then there is a formula. Again, for the benefit of this session, we will not hold you back again, but we will have a deeper session to know how we can calculate ROI and measure and analyze from there. So in summary, we have talked about a lot, and you might need some time to digest. We will send you the slides after this so that you can take some time to go through them and have a think about how you can use these digital marketing platforms to really boost your charity, to boost your Giving.sg campaign. So we have 4 pointers in summary. Number 1, creating awareness is really key for conversion. Remember, the higher the awareness, the higher the conversion. Number 2, be active on the social media platform that is most suited for your target audience. Be seen, be heard. You need to create a buzz. You need to create that noise, and minimally up to 3 times a week on a user's social feed to kind of help build that brand recall and that top of mind. And number 3, content and visual are really, really key, especially visual in this day and age. And lastly, the right advertising and email marketing will drive results. So in summary, I really hope that this session today has helped you to have a think about how you can market your Giving.sg campaign better on these various platforms. And in closing, I just want to share with you guys this quote by Bill Gates. Now, all of you know who Bill Gates is. He's the amazing founder of Microsoft, right? So he said that, I think it's fair to say that personal computers, and I think in this context, digital technology, have become the most empowering tool we've ever created. They are tools of communication, they are tools of creativity, and they can be shaped by their user. So really, digital media, it is empowering. It is an effective tools for us to communicate, for us to be creative with our photos, with our writing, with our videos, with our infographics. And ladies and gentlemen, how would you shape these tools for your good of your charity? How would you shape these tools, to really boost out your brand, to really garner that donation that you really like? So yes, to pose this question again, let us all together reimagine the city of good. Let us rethink the power of technology for good for our sector to really elevate the nonprofit industry in this digital era. So thank you again for joining us today. I hope that all these insights have been helpful. And right now we want to move on to the Q&A section. So let me look at some of your questions. Okay, so the first question would be, how do we gain organic followers? And number 2, when do we leverage on paid ads? Those are good questions. So number 1, how do we gain organic followers? To be honest, you really need time to build them. You really need time to curate your content. You need to be frequent in your posting, in your engagement, and advertising is really a best tool. So when do we leverage on paid ads? at any time, at the start, it will help you to build your followers, build a stronger base, and from there on, it will be able to help you grow. Even for us, for Giving.sg and for City of Good, we really see the power in advertising. To be honest, with Facebook and Instagram algorithm, if you don't pay, you can't play in this digital sector. So yes, leverage on paid ads, especially on your campaigns that on Giving.sg that you believe will bring in the ROI, will bring in the donations that you like. I hope I've answered that. Okay, how do you measure conversion? That is a formula on its own. So conversion would be a rate of your marketing dollars, and then the results that led to it, and then you divide them. But again, we will have a separate session on this so that we can deep dive on the different formulas about conversion rates, about return of investment rates, and many other data points that we can measure and to know the performance of our campaign. Okay, hi, where can we get a copy of this Giving Trends report? Okay, maybe let me check with our knowledge and insights team on if we're able to share it with you guys. Okay. Okay, hi, how many times in total would you recommend posting about the same campaign? Yeah, we recommend it up to 3 times, different variations. It can be a photo post, and then after that you can do a profiling, you can do an in-depth interview about your beneficiaries or people behind the campaign, and you can even do a reminder of the main key image that you want to drive just a few weeks before your campaign ends as well. Okay. Will you be hosting another session to talk about SEO? Yes, we will. And our colleague Zin will be fronting this because she's our search specialist. So stay tuned, guys. Will there be any funding for advertisements on Facebook and Instagram? Sadly, in Singapore, for Facebook, no, they don't have funding for nonprofits. But then, yes. But there's Google Ads grant if it's helpful. So hello, how do we know how to get the right audience on Facebook? We tried paid advertising, but there is poor response. Okay, right audience. I think you need to kind of analyze your charity's cause and what will best resonate. So earlier I shared on let's say your family and what are the interests and the psychographics of the potential audience. So for instance, if your charity is driving women cause, definitely you can kind of target on female, maybe above 21 years old to 50 years old, who are interested in social issues, who are interested in human rights. So you can try that. But also another strategy to really build your Facebook base followers, it would be mass targeting, because the mass audience has a potential out there. Because again, remember the inverted marketing funnel on how awareness is the first touch point. So if you have a stronger base of awareness, you'll be able to get there for the engagement that you want, for the conversion and the donation that you want. I hope I've helped that question. How do we generate sustainable contents up to 3 times a week? Okay, I think you really have to plan. You really have to treat it as a necessary thing on social media to be seen, to be heard. Have a think about your content plan. We usually plan up to so in a year, we have a skeletal outline of what are the themes that we want. Then we narrow down to, in a month, what are the content that we want to plan 3-4 times a week, depending on the themes, depending on our campaign strategy. So you can, I hope like what I shared earlier, you can vary your content type and all that. So it could be photos and videos, profilings of your staff, your board members, your volunteers. What is a reasonable budget to spend on paid ads? I think in a day, you can set a daily budget so that you do not overspend. We think that according to our data, $50 to $100 a day for a post will be able to work well to get the ideal performance and the results that we like. Facebook is charging GST for paid ads. Does nonprofits get any exemption on paying GST? That is a good question. According to my knowledge, unfortunately, no, we do not get that. But maybe we can kind of check in with our Facebook colleagues. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I noticed your examples tend to be more easily marketed. How do you tailor these strategies for arts, especially as in as non-essential? Are there any success cases, success levels on the same level as a more conventional illness, social problems, charities? Okay, that's an interesting question, and we really agree with you that the art sector has been really struggling. But no, you guys are really essential. Remember we did the City of Good show, you know, that live fundraising show that we really help all causes. And the first cause that we help is the arts and heritage sector. So for arts, we did partner with National Arts Council to create a landing page to feature all the charities who are in the arts sector. And for arts, what we noticed is that profile stories on performers really work. So if you have time later, you can check out our City of Good page, whereby in June, July, we featured a few performers from some of Tank Ensemble, some of the other arts charities. So when you profile the performers, that will work. And I think that is the success case because you can take a look at the engagement rates and all that. And we also recently partnered with Mothership for a content. So we observed that content will help. So like you can tell the impact stories, you can tell them the stories behind your art, behind why you do what you do, and all that. So I hope that answers your question. How to put up donate now button on IG post. So you go to your Facebook ad manager, whereby when you create your ad, at the second section, you can choose. So firstly, for the objective, you need to select conversion as the main objective. And for the second page, when they will ask you what is the call to action that you want, then you just select donate now. So there's a lot. There's like shop now, learn more, download now. So donate now button is one of the options. Generate, I believe I answered this earlier. Thank you for clarifying the typo earlier. What is the best timings to post on weekends? Okay, so for weekends, we rarely don't because we really observe very low engagement on weekends, especially since COVID struck, probably because people want to have some digital detox, want to have some break, want to, you know, reduce the screen time on weekends. But I would say that we observe that the best timing could be noon, so that you have then the noon traffic and the rest of the day to catch them. Or even you can try late in the night, like maybe after 9 p.m. so that when people start winding down, then, you know, they kind of catch up on their social feed, and that is a chance for you to have your content seen. Is Telegram the next communication channel to explore and engaging donors and supporters of our cause? That's very interesting. There's something in the pipeline as well that we're trying to explore if it will help. So we think that it's worth exploring. we think that it's worth to creating a channel, and we can kind of deep dive into that topic next. In generating a donor online experience survey, what kind of questions do you think is important to ask our donors? Okay, another great question. So we would think that the first question would be to ask them, which platforms are they most active on? Are they most frequent on? And then you can also ask them, in their opinion, what content works best? Would it be just a photo post? Would it be a video post? Would it be an infographic post? And then you can also definitely need to ask them about their demographics, about their interests, about the causes that they resonate with. And you can also ask them things like, how often have they donated, and what will drive them to donate. It's really very wide, a lot of questions that we can potentially ask. So I hope I've helped answer that questions on the important pointers. I realized that the engagement rate of posts that follow a similar pattern, for instance, quotes posts that are most same content pillar, usually decrease after a period of time. Are there any suggestions on how we can raise engagement rate of such posts? Okay, sorry, let me kind of digest that question again. Whereas the engagement rate of posts that follow a similar pattern usually decrease after. Are there any suggestions on how we can raise posts? All right, okay. Okay, so I think it's really back to the point about having a variety, having different kind of angles and narrative. So other than quotes, other than something that is heartwarming, you can remember when I mentioned about newsjacking, about writing on trends, about keeping things light and fun. So you can kind of try that, especially in this season of like some of the topical trends about the pandemic, about the new normal, for instance. So you can also explore the fun and light-hearted way to raise the engagement. Okay, I've tried to add on the donate now function. Is there any of them? Donate now is only for advertisements. Yes, that's right. The donate now button is only for advertisements. It's not for organic posts, unfortunately. You mentioned strategic and softer approaches. How do you order various types? Yes, so like I addressed the question earlier. So apart from the softer, heartwarming approaches, we can write on news, we can write on trends, we can keep things light. So for instance, in a campaign, you can do like a fun fact about a beneficiary, or 3 things you never knew about social service, for instance, or like maybe for the art sector, you can show a 15 to 30 seconds behind the scenes of a rehearsal, or a video of one of your performer, or yeah, like a behind the scenes. You can even profile beneficiaries, profile givers, profile your staff, and that is the variety that we think it will work. Okay, thanks for your question. What are your thoughts on using WhatsApp messaging to reach out to older demographics who might not be on Facebook or Instagram? Okay, so apart from Telegram, we first also thought of exploring WhatsApp. Unfortunately, it is quite costly, so we kind of decided to not dive into that. And honestly, with the text scams out there through SMSs, through WhatsApp, we think we kind of have second thoughts about using messaging to garner donations and all that. Maybe it might reduce our credibility or our trust. So that is something that is our thought. But we think that there are other offline channels that we potentially might want to reach them, or like relook at partnering maybe PA, or like some of the CCs, or like those CCs who has that workshops for seniors. So maybe that is something that we can also explore. And yes, so according to the data, more and more older seniors are also on Facebook. So that's a good thing. So that's something that we can try. Thank you for your questions. Does Giving.sg provide free ad posts for charities or paid ad post package? Okay, thanks for your question. For us, it's not really a package per se, but it's really based on the content plan that we have shared with you, I believe, last Friday through the email. So if you have not received our content calendar, please email us and drop us a note, and we will resend them again. So it's really part of our content strategy, and we try as much as possible to cover a lot of the causes always on, the charities as much as we can as well, based on our content strategy and on our content pillar and the different seasonalities and trends. So thank you, everyone. I think we have addressed all the questions.